I did want to ask before we get started, if you, I guess this would be easier to do over the phone maybe, but I wanted to figure out where, if you had posted the link to Brainfuse and where it was posted on your website. I assume maybe it's within a student management system. I didn't see it on the website, so I just wanted to make sure it was posted and visible to students because we want to make sure students are using the service. So one of the things I also always mention in these webinars is ways you can increase usage. Okay, great. I see it's posted in the student management system. That's perfect. That's how most schools do it. And I just wanted to open up this document here briefly. So I always like to show this to give some examples of ways to increase usage of students. So really, it's a free service to the students. So as long as they know it's there, it should be getting usage. So if we haven't sent any marketing material, or if you need any more flyers, anything like that, we can definitely send. Putting those in places where students will see them is a great way to increase usage. Any communications you can send to students, email, notifications, anything like that, professors talking to students, teachers, anything like that, just to let students know that this is available, social media, anything like that that you use. So I'm not going to go through all these, but those are just some different options to try and increase the usage to get your students to use the service. Okay, so this is the main page here. This is what your students will see when they access Brainfuse. I bet most of you have probably seen this, but if not, for the webinar today, I'm pretty much going to go over it as though you're seeing it for the first time. So I'll just basically be clicking on the different options, showing you exactly how everything works. And then if you have any questions at any point, you can go ahead and type them out. I'll try to stop every now and then to give you some time to type out questions. But you can feel free to type them out as we're going as well. And as soon as I see that question, I'll address it. Okay, so this is the main page here. There's basically 3 tabs. So we have Expert Help as the default tab. Then we also have Study and Collaborate. So all the different options we offer are located in these 3 tabs. So I'm going to work my way through them. Usually your students will get to this page through that link that you have set up within the learning management system. So they'll click on the link, they'll get access to this page, and then they'll be able to do exactly what we do today. So I'm going to start with the first button here, which is Live Help. So this is sort of our foundational service. It involves connecting with one of our live tutors. So a student with a question, a specific question they need help with, or a topic they're not understanding, they can log in here and connect with one of our live tutors. So you click on Live Help to connect with a tutor. All you do is choose one of the available topics here. So I'll go through each one. So we have business, and then within business, we have accounting, econ, and finance available. If we go back and choose computer and tech, here we have Excel, PowerPoint, Windows, and Word as options. Within English, we have reading and writing. Within math, we have a number of subjects here, so pretty much all the standard math options. And then within science, the last option here, we have anatomy, biology, chemistry, organic chemistry, and physics. So the students can choose any of the options here and connect with a tutor to either ask a specific question that they have from their homework or something like that, or if they just want general help on a topic they're learning, they can get that here as well. So let's say, for example, you choose science and biology. When you're ready, you click on the Get Live Help button. So that'll open up our online classroom and connect you with a tutor. We'll look at a live session at the very end today, so that'll be the last thing we do. I just want to go over all the options you have first. And you can also click right here if you'd like to get a Spanish-speaking tutor. So back on the main page, that was the Live Help button. The next option available here is the Writing Lab. So the Writing Lab allows students to send in pieces of writing to have our tutors review them. So it's essentially like having your teacher look over a paper before you have to turn it in for a grade. So one of our tutors will look over the paper, provide some comments and suggestions for how it can be improved, and then send that back to the student. They can take those comments, make some changes and adjustments to the paper, and then hand it in. So we're not going to make the changes for the student. We're going to point out ways they can improve the paper, point out recurring grammar errors or typos, things like that. But again, we're not going to send it back in a form that's ready to be submitted. The student will need to take everything we say into consideration and make the changes on their own. So when I click on the Writing Lab button here, it takes me to this page. To send in a document, you just click on the Browse button here and locate the file on your computer that you want to send in. Pretty much any standard document type is fine for submission. Then you have a comments box down here where you can type out anything you'd like to say to the tutor. So you could type out what the assignment was, if you had any specific questions, or you wanted help just with one aspect of the paper, like the conclusion. You can type out anything like that here to the tutor, and then click on Submit. And you'll get a message here that directs you to the Message Center. The Message Center is right up here at the top of the page. So we'll send back our response within 1 business day, as this says here. That's our max turnaround time. So a lot of the time when you send in a paper, we'll send back our response more quickly than that, but at the most we'll respond within 1 business day. So when it's time, or when you log back in to retrieve the response that we send back, you'll just click on the Message Center option right up here at the top of the page. So this is what I just submitted, and when the tutor sends back their response, it'll show up right below this submission here. You'll be able to see the tutor's comments, open up the document that they send back, and the majority of the comments that we send will be included in the document that the tutor sends back to you. So this right here is a sample reviewed paper. So we'll send them back with a rubric form on the top. So that's what we have right here. So the rubric form, and then there's a couple sections within the rubric form where the tutor will add their own comments. So one of the sections here is overview. The tutor's comments are here. And then if you scroll further down, the rubric ends here, and you find the actual paper, and the tutor will include comments embedded within the paper itself as well. So this is what a reviewed paper looks like. Back on the main page here, the next option is the 24/7 Center. This button works exactly the same way as the Writing Lab that we saw before just a minute ago, except the 24/7 Center lets you send in academic questions. So the Writing Lab is for papers, 24/7 Center, you can choose any of the topics that we saw before, and then you can send in a question. So you can type out the question here or attach a file if you have one, but that's optional, and then you send that in to us. So again, our turnaround time for these questions is 1 business day at the most, but we usually respond more quickly than that, especially for questions submitted in here. And we'll never give out an answer. So if a student sends in a math problem, most of the time our tutors will work through a similar problem to show how that type of question is done. They might get the student started, but whatever help the tutor provides, they're not going to do the whole problem for the student and give them the answer. The question you send in is saved in the Message Center here, just like the documents submitted through the Writing Lab. So you'll click on the Message Center when you sign back in later to retrieve the response that we send. And next to the 24/7 Center option, we have the Language Lab. The Language Lab is here for any students who are learning to speak Spanish. So in the Language Lab, Spanish is the only option we have here, so you can choose that, click on Connect with Tutor, and that connects you with a live tutor who can help you with learning the Spanish language. We also saw in the Live Help button, you can click on the little checkbox here. That will also get you a Spanish-speaking tutor, but that's more for someone who wants, Algebra 2 help in Spanish, so usually a native Spanish speaker. And then the Language Lab is for someone who's trying to learn Spanish. Okay, so I'll pause for a few seconds to see if you have any questions, Kimberly, or anyone else with you. You can go ahead and type those out. Okay, I see there's no questions yet. So I'll keep going then. If we move to the next tab, the Study tab, We have a couple options here. The first one is Flashbulb. So this is essentially an online flashcard service. But it gives you a lot of different options here with flashcards online that you don't have with actual hard copies of flashcards. So if students are trying to memorize any types of vocabulary words or terms from a science class, they can use Flashbulb here. So you click on the Create Now button on the left to enter your cards, the words and definitions, or whatever it is you're going to be entering. You do that here. We also have all these different topics listed over here. So this lets you search by topic for sets of flashcards that have already been created. For the most part, they're just created by other students, so they may not be accurate. Plus, they probably won't cover the exact words that you're looking to work on, but you always have the option of clicking on these topics here and looking through sets of cards that are available. So I'm going to click on a topic here just to show you what a set of flashcards looks like. So I'll click on the English vocabulary. Each one of these here is a set of flashcards. So anyone that has this icon next to it, you'll see a description of this up here, has actually been either created by us or vetted for accuracy. The rest of them are just created by students, so there's no guarantee that they would be accurate. So if I click on one of these sets of cards, you'll see a page that looks like this. So you'll see this page as well if you create a set of flashcards. So you'll have each of these icons here that you can click on, and these all let you do different things with the flashcards. So you can click on the first one here, and it'll just show you the cards. So you can see the first word, click on it to flip it over, and you can either put it into the correct pile or into the incorrect pile. And then you can retry the ones you didn't know once you get to the end. There's also a lot of games you can play here. For example, a crossword puzzle option. The system creates a crossword puzzle with the words you entered using the definitions over here as the clues. There's other games as well. You can take a quiz or a test, print the cards out if you want hard copies of them, and a bunch of other options here as well. So it's all just designed to make memorizing a little bit easier for students. If we go back to the home page and click on the Study tab again, that was the Flashbulb option. Right next to that we have Compass Prep. So if any of your students are preparing to take the Compass test, we have some options here for them. So we have resources. These are links to other websites you can use to prepare for the Compass test. In the middle, you can take practice tests. So you choose one of the 3 sections of the test. Click on Take a Test, and that lets you take a practice test in that subject. A lot of students will take a practice test, and then you can log in with one of our live tutors, and the tutor is actually able to access your specific test results, so you can have them go over the questions you answered incorrectly on the test you took. So that's why we list the live help option here next. But of course you don't need to use these in order. You can use them in any order. So to connect with a live tutor, again, choose one of the 3 sections of the test, and then click on Connect. And that will connect you in our online classroom to a tutor for the Compass reading test. Okay, does anyone have any questions about the options here in the Study tab? Okay. See, there's no questions. So I'll move on to the Collaborate tab. And the first option here is Meet. So essentially the Meet feature allows you to schedule online meetings with whoever you'd like to invite to the session. So you're connecting in our online classroom, the same online classroom as when you connect with our live tutors, except in a Meet session here, you're not connecting with our tutors, you're only connecting with the people you invite to the session. So it might be used by students to host a study group outside of class, or even by a teacher or professor to give extra help to students outside of the classroom. The nice thing is that everybody can be in a different location, and you can connect in one of these Meet sessions. So you're connecting in the online classroom. Everyone can connect from home, from the library, from wherever they happen to be. So if I click on the Meet button here, this is how I schedule a Meet session. Type in the email addresses of everybody you'd like to invite. Then you put in the date and time, a brief description of the meeting, and number 3, and click on Send. So that will send an email to everybody whose email address you entered, and that will contain a link they can click on to join this session. So they'll just have to click on the link and they can enter the session. As far as the options you have and what the online classroom looks like, we'll see that in just a little bit when we connect for a live session. So again, the online classroom is the same as when you connect with our live tutors, except of course in a Meet session here, only the people you invite will be present. When you schedule one of these Meet sessions, we have the My Calendar option up here at the top. So this is where that session will be saved and where you'll go to start that session when it's time for it to begin. If we go back to the home page and click on Collaborate again, right next to the Meet option, we have Brainwave. So this button says Create and Share Movie-like Notes and Ideas. Essentially, Brainwave gives you a smartboard, and it allows you to type out or draw whatever you'd like to put on the smartboard, and then it records what you're putting on there. So it essentially creates a little movie recording of whatever you do on the smartboard. So it's a good example of what you might use it for is to show how to solve a multi-step math problem or a chemistry problem, something like that. So you can go through each step in order, and you'll have this little video recording of that. So these can be created by students or even by teachers, and then whoever creates it can send them to other people. So the Brainwave could be sent by a teacher to their students, or by a student to fellow students, or any combination of those. So to create a new Brainwave, just click on the button either here or up at the top. This window tells you a little bit more about Brainwave, and then when you're ready, you can click on the Begin Recording button down at the bottom. The window here is called the Brainwave Notepad. It looks just like our online classroom that we'll see in a few minutes. You'll have these same buttons available when you're connected in a live session. But of course here, we're not connected with a tutor. The system's just recording whatever I put on the board. So I can, for example, use the graph option here to click and drag a graph onto the whiteboard. I can use the Shapes tool to put a line onto the graph. And then, for example, I could work on finding the slope of this line, or whatever the problem is that I'm trying to solve. So it's being recorded right now. Once I go through all the steps and I'm finished, I can click on Stop Recording down here at the bottom. I put in the description of the Brainwave, call it slope 617, and then click on Save. So now I'll have this Brainwave saved right here on my Brainwaves page. I can click on the play button to replay it, or you can click on the envelope icon over here to enter somebody's email address and send them, it'll be sent as a link they can click on and then view that recording. So again, this can be sent from a student to a student, student to a teacher, or teacher to student as well. You can also click on the Brainwave Library tab here, and this lets you type in a keyword to see if you can find any brainwaves on a topic you're working on. So just like with the flashcards, where you can find sets of flashcards that others have created, you can do the same thing here with brainwaves, just by searching by keyword. You can also always click on My Brainwaves up here at the top, and that'll access your Brainwaves, Save Brainwaves page right here. We also have this My Cloud Pack option here at the top. So if I click on that, this blue window opens up. Essentially, Cloud Pack is a storage device, so you can enter whatever folders you'd like under here. So I could enter one for class notes, enter one for English papers. Whatever you'd like to add here, you can add as many folders as you want, and then you can upload documents into these folders. So it works in one capacity just as a storage device, but the nice thing about Cloud Pack is that once you have documents saved here, you can access them in a live session and upload them right into our online classroom, so you can look at them together with a tutor. So if you're writing a paper and you want to get help with that, this is a nice feature to use when you're connected in the online classroom. So I'll show you how that works in just a minute. Okay, so those were the two options in the Collaborate tab here. Those are the main options available here within the three tabs. The next thing we'll do is look at a live session, but I just want to see if anyone has any questions up to this point. So you can go ahead and type those out if you do, and then once we do that, we'll connect for the live session. Okay, see there's no questions. So I'll go ahead and click on the Live Help button right here. And then I'll choose a topic. So let's say I choose English and writing. And then I click on the Get Live Help button right here. So this is our online classroom here that's opening up. You'll always see the same online classroom here, no matter what subject you choose. So you always see the same options that we're going to look at here. I've set the session up today just so that I connect with myself. So I'm also logged in as a tutor. So the tutor's name shows up here, and then also over here in the participants box. So usually the session will start with a note from the tutor, and then the tutor will have to figure out what exactly it is the student needs help with. So in this case, the tutor would know that I chose English writing, but they wouldn't know anything other than that. So there's two basic parts to the online classroom. Most of that back and forth communication would happen down here in the chat box. So if I want to type something back to the tutor, I just click down here at the bottom, and I can type out whatever I'd like to. So this is essentially an instant messaging feature that a lot of programs use today. So that's one part of the online classroom. The other main part is the whiteboard space up here at the top. So this area can be used for a lot of different things. If a student logs in looking for help on a specific topic, we have lessons created for all standard topics. So the student logs in and says they need help on scientific notation. The tutor could load our lesson on scientific notation into the space and then work through that with the student. So our lessons are set up just like those in a textbook. So it'll go over the basics of the topic, sample questions, and practice questions. If a student just has a question that they'd like to get help with, that's also usually done in the whiteboard space here. So the student can type out a math question, chemistry question, whatever it is here onto the whiteboard, and then the tutor can help them with that. So any typing that's done on the board, you'll use these buttons that are available here. So I'll go through these quickly. The default option here is the ABC button, so it lets you click anywhere on the whiteboard and then type. The pencil here is freehand draw, so this lets you freehand draw on the board. The eraser will let you erase. The font button lets you change the font style and size that you're typing in. Color wheel lets you change the color of the next thing you put on the board. This is a copy and paste option, so anything that can be copied and pasted can be pasted onto the whiteboard. So you can copy part of a paper you're working on and put it onto the whiteboard here. If you have a math problem with images from an online source, you can copy and paste that onto the whiteboard. So you just put your cursor wherever you'd like it to paste and click on the paste button, and it'll paste it right there. This is an underline tool, or sorry, a straight line tool. It can be used for underlining or for drawing figures. Anything else you need straight lines for. This one lets you put either a number line or a graph on the board. So I can choose the number line and click and drag that onto the board. Or I can choose the graph option and click and drag that onto the whiteboard. And you can also double click on either of these icons and it will let you change the X and Y values. This is a basic shapes tool. So you can use this to put lines onto a graph, or to put some other basic shapes on the board. The arrow just removes the most recent thing you put on the board, so you can keep clicking on this and you move backwards. Math button gives you a long list of math symbols if you need any. SCI does the same thing for science symbols. Then we have a superscript and a subscript button, and down at the very bottom you can clear the whiteboard. Up at the top, we have some additional options. So this one here is print. So if you went over something on the whiteboard that was especially helpful, you can click on the print button and that'll print it out. But you don't need to do that because we also have back on the website this past sessions button. So all of your live tutoring sessions are automatically recorded and saved here within your account. So it's essentially like a little video recording of the live tutoring session as it happened. So you can log back in here and press the play button to rewatch your tutoring session. They're saved here automatically, so you can always just log back in and rewatch your past tutoring sessions. You can also click on the orange icon over here next to each one that says convert to a brainwave. That'll convert the file into a brainwave file. And then if you remember with brainwaves, you can send those to other people. So you could send a recording of your live tutoring session to somebody else or to yourself through email. So you can access it within your email rather than having to sign into your Brainfuse account. Back in the online classroom here, we also have this envelope icon. This lets you enter an email address directly from the live session, and it will email a link to whatever address you enter here, and that link will let you watch the recording of this tutoring session. So you can do it here, like as you're about to sign out of the session, click on this button, enter your email address, and that will send the link to you in your email, or you can also do that from the website as I just showed you. This button right here says send file. So this lets you upload a document directly to the tutor you're connected with. So if you're looking to get help on a paper you're working on, you can click on this button right here and upload a document directly to the tutor that you're connected with. And any standard type of file can be sent to the tutor. And then the last option here is the Cloud Pak Explorer. So the Cloud Pak was the storage device that we looked at before. So you can upload documents into your Cloud Pak. And then when you're connected in the live session here, you can click on this button to access all those documents, and you can actually upload them right onto the whiteboard. So you can upload a paper you're working on or anything like that onto the whiteboard here, and then you can look at it together with the tutor. So for sharing materials with the tutor, you have a number of options. You can use the Cloud Pak option here. You can use the Send File button, and you can also just copy and paste using this button here. Okay, so that's how the live sessions work. That's how the online classroom works. If you connect for one of those Meet sessions that we saw before, you'll essentially have the same options that we see here. So you can invite whoever you're inviting to that Meet session. There might be more than 2 people as well, so you'd have additional people here in the participants box. You would all be working on the same whiteboard. Anything you type in the chat box here would be visible to everybody, so it would essentially be like a group study session or homework help session. Whatever you want to use the Meet sessions for, you can, and you'll be connected in an online classroom that looks just like this one right here. Okay, are there any questions about the online classroom here or anything else we went over? What is the My Tests option? My Tests, oh, back here on the main page. My Tests is where your test results are saved. So for your students, the only test option that's available, I think, is the Compass Prep. So if you go in the Compass Prep and take a practice test option, take a practice test here. So choose one of these and take the test. Your test results will be saved within My Tests. So if I click on that right here, once you have taken a test, the test results would be saved right here. You can retake tests again. There'll be a retake button next to the test once you've taken it. And again, once you've taken one of our tests, you can log in with a live tutor. And our tutors are able to access your test results, so they could go over all the questions you got wrong or any questions that you had any difficulty with. The tutor will be happy to help you with those questions, so they can see the tests, your test results, what the questions were, and work through those with you. Any other questions? That's pretty much everything I wanted to go over today. So those are the options that your students will see, as well as the live session. But I'd be happy to take any additional questions. I can go back over anything. Maybe I didn't go over thoroughly enough. I'd be happy to do that. Okay, I see there's no other questions for right now. Do you know if will you have any students using the service over the summer, or is it mostly a fall, winter, spring student schedule for your students? Okay, great. So if you do have any questions, if the students have any questions, they can contact us anytime. We have an email address at info@brainfuse.com. And I think there's also a contact us option down here. If you need tech support help, that's available here. Um, this probably was sent to you before. This is our student guide. If not, we can definitely send it again. So this can be posted somewhere that students can see it and get access to it. So it's essentially sort of a how-to guide. I also recorded this webinar today, so I can send you access to this webinar. You can place the link to that somewhere for your students to watch or for faculty to watch. It's up to you how you want to send out the link, if at all. So I'll send that to you. I'll also send this guide when I send the link to the recording of today's webinar. Okay, I think that's everything I had to go over. So thanks to everyone for attending, and feel free to contact me anytime if you have any additional questions once you start using the service. Okay, have a great day. Thank you.